Hi everyone, and welcome to my very first video. I'm starting this vlog in the hopes of taking you along on my journey to plastic surgery. So yes, I am having plastic surgery. I'm having what you call a mommy makeover, and my specific mommy makeover consists of a tummy tuck and breast augmentation with liposuction on my flanks. Now, the reason I'm having this surgery is because I feel like I want to regain my body to where it was before I had children. I have 4 children. I've breastfed all of them. To put it simply, I'm not happy with my body. Exercise and diet and all of these things didn't really work out for me. And the reason for that is your abdominal wall for women who have had children, your abdominal wall expands to accommodate a little human being inside you, or how much ever kids you have had, whether twins, triplets, whatever. And it tends to never go back in place once you've become pregnant and carried a child. So with the tummy tuck, it tends to, they stitch it. They pull it together and they stitch it in place. So when the tummy tuck, a successful tummy tuck, makes you have a really flat stomach or abdominal area. Stomach was the wrong word. So I can show you myself based on what I have. So you see this, I can grip all of this, right? I don't like this about myself. I don't like that, right? I don't like it at all. I want to be able to fit comfortably in clothing and look and feel, comfortable, look and feel confident, wear the nice little bikinis, wear even a bathing suit without having to look like I am pregnant when I'm not. I don't know, it's just me and how I look at myself as a woman, I've had all my children. And one of the things I'll tell you though is if you're considering any type of surgery like a tummy tuck or a mommy makeover, make sure that you're not planning on having any more babies, because they highly advise against getting pregnant again after you've done a tummy tuck or any sort of abdominoplasty, mainly because you have that they're stitching the abdominal wall. Any sort of stretching is going to undo that, and you can get internal bleeding. I'm not a medical professional. Please don't take this as any sort of medical advice. Just put that out there. Okay, so the reason I chose that is because, like I say, I wanted to get rid of all this, flat that I have, right? And for the breast augmentation, the reason I'm doing that is because I want symmetry in my breast. And a little more volume, something that looks natural. So not all this, huge boobs all in your face kind of thing, but just something where there is symmetry. Because right now there isn't any symmetry, and there is the unevenness. And I'm just one in many women who have that following childbirth, right? Whether it's hereditary or whatever the case is. But I'm currently unhappy with the way they look, and I want them to have more symmetry and a little more volume. So one of the things I did when I started considering plastic surgery is looking at a location, a facility who would do it. Now, I'm in the US, and there are so many different places, especially in Miami, Boca Raton, all these different places, right? One of the things I looked for is a place that would actually perform the operation, and it would be convenient for me to be close by. So I obviously opted for looking at facilities close to where I live. Now, where I live is Palm Beach County, and there's a facility that's like 12 minutes away from where I live. And I felt that they were, being a convenient facility, and doing my research on reviews about them and the surgeons there, I felt confident enough to visit or to fill out the form for a consultation. So I did that. I actually filled out a form for 3 different places. 2 of them reached back out to me. In fact, all reached back out to me. The reason I only went to 2 of the consults and not the 3rd is because the 3rd place was actually wanting to put a credit card on file to book the consultation date. just so that if I didn't show up for the consultation, they would still charge the card for the consultation fee, because that's technically the doctor's time. I didn't feel comfortable doing something like that, because if I have little kids, so if something comes up and I need to reschedule, not cancel, but reschedule, they would have charged the card. And I didn't feel comfortable doing that, so I opted not to continue further with the consultation at that facility. However, I went to the other 2 consultations, and based on those 2, my choice actually came down to cost. Cost is a huge factor because it's surgery. It's not cheap. It's not like $100 and go in and, you know, get the surgery done. That's not the case at all. But what kind of, the reason why I opted to go to one facility over another, like I mentioned, is cost. Now, it's the same procedure that's being done. When you look at the quote, I compared the quote side by side, and I looked at everything. They were doing the same procedure, with the exception of the cost. The cost for the surgery at one location was costing me $21,000, and the cost at the other location that I went and did the consult at was costing me $14,000. So $14,000 to $21,000, I mean, that's a huge jump in price when you're looking at something, a facility who is performing the same type of procedure, right? Abdominoplasty with breast augmentation and liposuction on the flanks. Now, when I chose the location, I also went ahead and did my research on the surgeons who were at that facility. And looking at that, I only came across one review, and it wasn't even a bad review. It was a review based off of, and this is what I guess most people would consider a negative review, but it was based off of what the surgeon said to her, that I guess she kind of took offense and posted about it, right? But the work that the surgeon does is phenomenal. I have gone through the entire internet and have not found anyone with a bad review. Now, that's not necessarily saying that there isn't a bad review. I just haven't found one, right? That's my disclaimer. I personally have not found one. Obviously, if you go in and you do your research and you could see negative reviews, you know, please comment and let me know. But so far, I haven't found one. On Health Grades, I was pretty confident in, you know, the reviews that I found there as well. So the place that I'm going to get my surgery done is called Plastic Surgery of Palm Beach. Again, like I say, they're 12 minutes away from my house. Their price was very good. The patient coordinator who is assigned to me, she's very communicative, and that's a plus. For me, that's a plus. I don't want that I pay my money to a facility for booking a surgery date and I get ghosted, because you have my money now and I'm just a number or a date on your calendar to get a surgery done in and out. That's not the case, and that's not how I feel when I interact with anyone at the facility. I feel like I matter. They are excited for, you know, my surgery date. And I think the reason for that is because they are not considered a chop shop, right? That's a terminology I've come across in my various research on YouTube, that there are so many chop shop surgical centers. I'm not going to name any, because you can go on your own on YouTube and you can do some research. And there's one facility in particular in Miami that a lot of women have done plastic surgery and have had botched operations following surgery, have not had a chance to do a proper follow-up post-op. That's scary, because a post-op follow-up is extremely important, especially when you're having any type of surgery done, right? So you can do your own research on YouTube and you can see. I'm not going to name the facility, right? Just saying. So One of the things that is good to research when you're thinking about any type of surgery, so for instance, I'm looking at breast augmentation, is the size of breast you want to, go from to. So let's say, like myself, I'm currently, I'm an A cup, and I'm looking at going up to a C cup. Now, the facility that I chose, Plastic Surgery of Palm Beach, they actually recommended a website to go on. Now, this website actually gives you an overall view of, and you can filter the search. It's an age range of women with your height and weight. And you can filter the search that shows you women of your size or almost your size with the breast type that you want, or the desired result that you're looking for. So I went on and I looked at from a transition of an A cup to a C cup with someone who is 5'4". I'm 5 feet tall, so 5'4" and around, I think she was 108 pounds, right? And she was 37. I'm 36. So looking at something like that, where she started to where she ended up, was perfect. So I grabbed a screenshot off of that and I emailed it to my patient coordinator. So they added that to my file. Now, obviously, these are things that when the surgeon goes through your file in your last appointment before your actual surgery date, because you meet with the surgeon before you have your surgery done, right? And they go over all of these things in your file, and they actually explain to you if it's a right choice or a wrong choice based on your own body type, your height, your weight, how it's going to look, where you want placement, if you want it high up, if you want it low down, if you want it sloped, a little more natural looking, a little rounded. There are so many different ways that a breast augmentation can be done. And it's all based on what you and your surgeon agree to, right? So that's one of the good things to research. Now, I did my extensive research on abdominoplasty and how exactly this operation is performed. Now, if you're squeamish when it comes to blood and surgery and that sort of thing, I advise against doing that. I'm not, so I went ahead and I did some research and I looked at it and my eye was like, right? This is just me looking at these things because, I've never seen an actual surgery being done before. And I saw a video of it and I'm like, wow. So now I understand why they do all the markings on you so that they know where to cut, which is important. They know where to cut, they know how to, how low to go down, where they mark you, because they mark on you during your consultation, right? They measure the breast, the symmetry, they measure from here, go down, just to make sure that it brings in some type of symmetry when the surgery is done. And obviously you want to pay money for something that you're going to be happy with the end result, and that's very important, right? One of the other things to consider is that aside from the quote that they provide you with the cost for the surgery in-house in the facility, there are some out-of-pocket costs. And the out-of-pocket costs that I'm talking about is obviously if you're doing a breast augmentation or any type of work on your breast, whether it's an augmentation, a lift, or a reduction, the surgeon gives you paperwork to take in to get a mammogram done. It doesn't matter your age. Now, if you're doing an elective mammogram, then you have to be over 40, whether your insurance covers it in full, because it's technically what they consider preventative, right? In this case, it's elective. So elective or diagnostic, as they term it on the paperwork. Diagnostic mammograms, right, are not fully covered by the insurance, and you have to bear the cost of that. So it's considered an out-of-pocket cost. So you get that done. It consists of the mammogram procedure along with an ultrasound. So what it does is it tests for it scans for any anomalies in the breast tissue. Now, you don't want to go ahead and do any sort of invasive surgery. Breast augmentation or reduction, anything to do with breast surgery is invasive. You don't want to do any invasive surgery, put in an implant, and then there's some type of underlying issue with your breast. That's going to be cause for further surgery to be done, or surgical procedure to be done, and that's not good, right? So your surgeon wants to make sure that once you get full clearance of the mammogram, then he can continue with going ahead with that surgery. So that's one of the out-of-pocket costs. It's a mammogram. The next out-of-pocket cost is what they term as a fitness clearance, and that simply is a physical, an annual physical that you would do regularly with your primary care physician, or whoever that you have that would do that fitness physical for you. So you make an appointment, you go in, they do all sorts of just a full test of you as a person, just to ensure that you are healthy to undergo surgery, right? So it just ensures that your blood count is good. They do, I believe, an EKG, so they make sure your heart is working as it should, because you are undergoing surgery, right? So once you get that fitness clearance, the results are faxed over to the surgeon's office, and they get all that done, right? And once you are clear for surgery, then you proceed to have your surgery done on a date that's agreed between you and your patient coordinator based on the surgeon's availability, right? Now, I already have my date. I already have my date scheduled in December, and I have my pre-op appointment with my nurse next week. So when I get that done at that pre-op appointment, and I'll do a video on that, so that would be my next video. At the pre-op appointment, it's just basically you having to sign paperwork, going through a binder full of things that you're going to have to get for the surgery, aside from what they provide you. So your medication, your pain meds, all of the different things that you have to take following the surgery, prescriptions that would need to be filled, that my husband will have to fill while I'm having the surgery done, so I can take it as soon as I wake up from the anesthesia. I can take that medication, so he would have to have it ready, all of that, on the day of my surgery, once my surgery is done. So just bear in mind, right, all of these little things that you're gonna have to do. Again, ample research prior to jumping in, with both feet. Just do enough research where you're comfortable in the decision that you're making. At the end of the day, if you are looking at doing surgery at a certain facility, you visit in person, and so many things are little, bells are going off in your head about, just listen. Your instinct is never wrong. If you don't feel comfortable, if they don't acknowledge your time or respect your time, and by that I mean if you have an appointment for 3 o'clock and 5 p.m. you're still sitting there and no one has come to you, then that's not any respect for you or your time, because you have made an appointment and you're sitting there 2 hours later with no communication. Me personally, I would get up and leave, right? But again, that's just me. But your instinct is never wrong. So do all the research that you need to, go to as many consultations as you need to, but always look at what's best for you as a person, as a human being, the way that you want to be treated, right? Don't make any rushed decisions based off of how someone might say, oh no, that would be the good one for you. That don't ever let someone try to encourage you into something that red flags are going off in your head, right? It's what I'm trying to say. I think doing enough research on your own, going on YouTube, looking at videos, not as a means to scare you out of doing the surgery, but it's always best to educate yourself on what you're getting done. So what I did is I went on and I looked at all the different procedures and just kind of, gathered an idea of what I would look like after surgery, or what my scar would look like, or how, the different type of breast augmentations, and the type of bras, and how to get fitted for a bra after, and how to get fitted for clothing after your surgery, and the do's and the don'ts, really. That's the kind of things that I was researching for, leading up to my decision to get surgery. So anyways, my next video, like I mentioned, is going to actually be based on my pre-op with my nurse, and I'll share a lot more then. So if you like the content and you want to continue following me on my plastic surgery journey, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.